Hello again, everybody! Second Tech is here with the Atakline for Wednesday, September 12th, 2012. Of course, been a decent day yesterday was, of course, 9/11, the 11th anniversary of that tragic day back in 2001 when those airplanes crashed and destroyed the World Trade Center in New York and also hit the Pentagon. Another crash somewhere, I forgot where the third plane crashed. It crashed someplace else too, but indeed, there was a very day of remembrance for a lot of Americans mourning it. A lot of memorial ceremonies took place all around the country, especially in New York and Washington, D.C. for that day where a lot of innocent lives were lost. On that day, of course, considered by Osama bin Laden, of course, dead now. Day of remembrance indeed for yesterday, 9/11. Sad occasion. We remember that day of all the lives that were lost that day in various places in the country. Prayers and thoughts go out to everybody yesterday who lost their loved ones in that tragic day. I hope they are trying to live life day by day after that tragic day in 2001. So the anniversary of 9/11 celebrated yesterday. Now let's get on with the entertainment news for today. Starting with your Billboard #1s. Well, we have a new #1 pop album, a new old #1 pop single, and a still #1 country single. Starting off with your new #1 album, kicking off Toby Mac after 1 week. Matchbox 20 getting their very first #1 album ever in their 15-year career. The new album North. Congrats to them for that honor. They've been around for a long time without a #1 album. That's weird for them, but indeed first #1 for their album North. Although it may be kicked off next week by either Bob Dylan, who's had a #1 album the last couple of years, or Little Big Town's album. It's speaking of Little Big Town, as they wait to find out if their album debuts at #1 of pop or not next week, their single Pontoon is still your #1 country single for the second week in a row. It's speaking of country songs, after being kicked off for 1 week by Florida, Taylor Swift, thanks to her performance last week at the VMAs, regains the #1 pop single chart #1 with We Are Never Ever getting back together for its third non-consecutive week, making it the longest reigning #1 country single on the Hot 100 in 22 years since 1980's Lady by Kenny Rogers, who reigned for 6 weeks. So there you go, 3 weeks for Taylor, non-consecutive. Congratulations to your new and old #1s on the Billboard charts. Now, on with the biggest entertainment news article of the day. The finally revealed iPhone 5. Now, it's been rumored for about a year now. Some people were expecting it to be launched last year. But in the aftermath of the death of Apple founder Steve Jobs, they released iPhone 4S instead. But now, after a year of waiting, iPhone 5 was finally revealed today in a long 2-hour press conference. It is a taller, thinner, and faster iPhone. On Wednesday, that's getting revealed today. It's getting a lot of mixed reception. It shows a thinner screen, a thinner model, a lot taller, bigger screen, which compares with current phone models, a little bit taller, which includes the ability to add a new row of apps. A taller Retina display, like I said, it measures 4 inches diagonally, up from 3.5 inches in the past. It's now going to be LTE speeds, be a lot faster, the so-called 4G standards, of course 4G LTE now, and it's smaller connected now for the new iPhone, dubbed Lightning. So the old iPod cords will not be compatible with the new iPhone. It includes a faster chip that promises the double processing and graphics performance, and a better camera, and faster Wi-Fi connection. And of course, the iPhone 5 will be available on AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. Will be coming out next Friday, September 21st. Pre-orders will be accepted this upcoming Friday. And the iPhone 5 was talked about, but they also upgraded the iPod Touch as well, with the same display as the iPhone 5. That means to be iPod Generation 5. It also includes Siri on the iPod Touch. It'll be coming in 5 different colors, the new iPod Touch, and also new iTunes. And also new iOS 6 coming out September 19th, and it'll of course be coming installed with the new iPhone. Well, we know what's in it. A lot of people are already nitpicking on what not is on it, including a chip from Near Field Communications, NFC, and a lot of other things that people are nitpicking for what's on and what's off it. So there you go. iPhone 5 coming out next Friday. Like I said, a lot of people already saying what's on, what's not, blah, blah, blah. Depends on what entertainment technology site you read. So iPhone 5 finally coming out next Friday. Speaking of things that are coming out, albums coming out soon. Turns out November seems to be another big month for 2012. November is always a big month for releases, especially before Thanksgiving. Well, a woman who always seems to be announcing albums to be coming out in November seems to be Rihanna, who's coming off a VMA performance last week, and a win last week for Video of the Year, and announcing her Diamonds World Tour last week as well. She makes another announcement possibly for a woman new album coming out this November. Rihanna's released an album in November for the last 3 of the last 4 years. 2009, she released Rain On in November. 2010, Loud in November. 2011 last year, Talk That Talk, also in November. So apparently, Alan Deptier and friends leaked the news of the possible November album release for Rihanna for 2012. And they're saying the new single from the yet-to-be titled new album will be coming out this forthcoming Monday. Now they're saying there'll be more details to be announced tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll hear more news about the yet-to-be confirmed and yet-to-be titled new album from Rihanna coming out in November. A new single on Monday. Speaking of albums set to come out soon, specifically probably in November, Lady Gaga, not Gaga, sorry, but Christina Aguilera is rumored, well, confirmed to release a brand new album coming out this November or fall-ish. She's, of course, coming off the aftermath of a bomb album, Bionic, and, of course, her little comeback from The Voice. And now a new album set to come out this November. It's called Lotus. And a new single, which leaked a few weeks ago, called Your Body, will be coming out on radio this Friday. Well, on Monday, the same day as I mentioned that Rihanna's new single set to be released, the video for Christina's Your Body will be premiering on where else? The Voice this Monday. So there you go. Christina, of course, announced the release day of the album and new single through Twitter, saying that the album titled Lotus, representing an unbreakable flower that survives under the hardest condition and still thrives. Lotus' intro to set the tone, she says, in conceptually, I didn't target one specific sound or genre. Self-expression and freedom are the album themes. The album represents a rebirth for me. So there you go. New album for Christina called Lotus coming out in November. No specific date yet, but the new single called Your Body coming out this Friday on radio. Video premieres Monday on The Voice. And also on Monday, Rihanna set to release her new single from a yet-to-be titled new album set to come out in November as well. So there you go. Now, I accidentally mentioned GaGa's name for the new album released in November, but I think GaGa is doing something radical. With her new album coming out soon on Pop, also an app, she's decided to shave her head. Now, last week we saw Kelly Pickler shave her head in honor of a friend who has cancer. Well, GaGa is shaving her head to honor the death of a good friend and photographer, Terry Richardson's mother, who died recently. GaGa posted a photo of a newly shaved head last night for Terry Richardson's mother, who died this past, I think, Tuesday or whatever. Like I said, to pay her respects to Terry Richardson's mother, Lady Gaga shaved the back of her head to resemble Richardson's bald spot. She tweeted, "I did it for you, Terry," along with a photo. "I'm sorry about your mommy." His mother, Amy Lomax, died this week after being in extensive care. Like I said, GaGa's been working with Terry Richardson for photos, including photos for a recent book that came out last year. So, thoughts go out to Terry Richardson and his family for during this very sad time for the death of his mother. So there you go, GaGa shaves her head to honor her friend's mother passing away. Now, on with news about sports. Now, before we get to WWE and an update on Jerry the King Lawler, there's an update about UFC. A lot of cancellations lately for UFC. As we all know, a couple weeks ago, UFC 151 was canceled just days before the event due to an injury to Dan Henderson, and a refusal of a main event by John Bones Jones. He will be instead fighting at UFC 152 next week against Vitor Belfort for the light heavyweight championship. Now, there is some cancellation news concerning the next UFC pay-per-view at the 152, 153, as not just the main event's canceled, but the co-main event's now canceled in Brazil. The main event was supposed to be Jose Aldo defending his featherweight championship against Frankie Edgar. That fight's not canceled because of Jose Aldo getting injured. And also the co-main event's canceled, as Rampage Jackson was supposed to fight Glover Teixeira, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce that name right, but Rampage is injured. No word on who's going to replace Aldo and Rampage in these fights for Edgar and Glover. So there you go, the main event and co-main event fights for UFC 153 have been canceled due to injury yet again. Another UFC pay-per-view to be halted by injuries. We saw what happened at 159, an injury canceled 151, and now 153 is now threatened by injuries as well. Probably we're going to find out who's going to fight Frankie and Glover in the next couple of weeks for the UFC 153 pay-per-view scheduled for October 13th in Brazil. Now, an update on, of course, Jerry the King Lawler. Now, for those of you that didn't watch Raw on Monday, Jerry the King Lawler apparently had a heart attack this past Monday during Raw. He passed out at the announcer's table and went straight to the hospital. He really had heart surgery. Now, as of this video, WWE's been posting updates throughout the last couple of days, and they released a new statement today saying that as of Wednesday afternoon, Jerry the King Lawler remains in a cardiac care unit in Montreal. His vital signs continue to be stable. He is awake, recognizes family members, and is communicating with them. We continue to wish Jerry all the best for a full recovery. Now, his ex, the cat, aka Stacey Cole, has been tweeting things about Jerry the King Lawler. He had a CAT scan, and that he has no brain damage, according to test results. As commented by his ex-wife on Twitter, Stacey Autumn. So, of course, nice to hear some new updates on Jerry Lawler. At least all signs are heading towards a positive for a speedy recovery for Mr. Lawler and a full recovery as well. So once again, like I said on Monday in my Raw review, best wishes to you, Jerry, for a good, speedy, and full recovery to you, man, for this sad occurrence that happened this past Monday during Raw. That is it for the Atakline for today. See you later. Then my minute act by the news from Zach. Thank you very much. See you later, yeah.